All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is March 25th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Special shout out. Well, let me just say this. Thank you to all my subscribers, followers, and the people that leave kind comments. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Big shout out, Rick Sadler, Ed Carter, Kathy, Sarah, Roasted, John Jordan, and Bob Jordan. Thank you for sharing the content, helping get the good word out there to the rest of the World Wide Web. Appreciate that and love that. All right, let's take a look at the markets today. Made 845. It was not a very good trend day. There was no trend. There was no edge. It was more or less playing, trading the levels. That's about it. It was very difficult because there was no trend. Every trend got cut short. Look at this one. You know, we're under, and now we're back over. Now we're under, now we're back over. Now we're under, and now we're back over. Now we're under, and you can see them crossing up again. So, not a very good trend day. It was lousy, all right, for trends. All they did was kind of move sideways, consolidating over yesterday's consolidation right there. So not liking it at all. It was not easy day. I think they probably come down here in the post market, in the futures market, and do the gap fill thing. That's what I think happens later tonight. After the dealers have put their books to bed, I think there'll be a swift move down there once the dealers get out of the way. All right, so let's take the trading off. Let's start with the 10-minute chart on the SPY. I'm just going to call it bearish consolidation because we had a 10-minute downtrend, but now it's crossing over. So 10-minute bearish consolidation into the close on the 2-hour chart. 2-hour, let's pick it up on, let's do this one. Right there. Let's do the 2-hour. And let's find a clean chart. Get that out of the way. And take that out of the way. All right, so we got the candlesticks and the 3 got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Not a very convincing uptrend. More or less bearish consolidation on the 2-hour chart. In my opinion, all right, on the daily chart, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. Right here, no trend, no edge. Okay, just a tough day. We can see on the quad lines, this is the origin of our move, April. Okay, we move up and over to the right, kind of rolling over here right now underneath this downtrend line. So we have not made any higher highs over the 17. So we're still in a downtrend, all right? We're bullish because we're in the upper third, but still in that downtrend. We haven't made any higher highs on the daily time frame. Weekly time frame is also in a downtrend, because we got a low here, we made a lower low. All right, you can see the origin of our move back here in April, up, over, and rolling over. All right, so SPY still bullish because it's in the upper third, but in the weekly chart, it's in a downtrend. On the daily chart, it's in a downtrend. On the 2-hour chart, it's bearish consolidation. Okay, a lot of coiling up. I don't know where price is going to go. We'll find out soon, maybe tomorrow. Price action right there, downtrend on the weekly. Monthly chart, still in an uptrend. Obviously, here's the origin of our move. Back here in April, we're up and over to the right. We have not made any lower lows on the monthly charts. Look at QQQ. QQQ, we'll start on the 10-minute chart. 10-minute chart, bearish consolidation, actually bearish downtrend. Got a little bit of daylight here between the 3 EMA. See the 3 EMA and the candlesticks plotting below the 8. Got some daylight with the 3 and the 8 here. So 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on the QQQ on the 2-hour chart. We've got the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the 8. More bearish consolidation. It is a 3-candle uptrend on the 2-hour chart. To me, it looks like bearish consolidation. On the daily chart, we've got higher low, higher high. We closed inside a bearish trap, just like SPY. Closed underneath the falling 17. We closed underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. We closed underneath the uptrend line. We're in the bottom of quadrant 4, so we're still bullish, but we're making lower highs right here. All right, and then we got some lows. We're making lower lows, so we're still in a downtrend on QQQ. On the weekly chart, okay, we got a low over here. We made a lower low, so we're in a downtrend. We're still bullish up here. They can recover this. We're still bullish up here, but they are currently in a weekly downtrend and a daily downtrend. A 2-hour bearish consolidation, if you ask me, or a week 3-candle uptrend on the 2-hour chart. Monthly chart, here's the origin of our move. April, up, over to the right. We have not made any lower lows below the 17, so we are still in an uptrend, and we're bullish because we're in the upper third up there. So there's QQQ holding that higher ground, okay? So that makes it bullish. All right, whenever you see price move up, give it up. That's neutral. Right now you're seeing price move up and hold the higher ground. Same with SPY on the monthly chart. Going up, holding that higher ground up there. Okay, so that's bullish whenever price does that. So that's SPY and that's QQQ. This morning out of the gate, what do we have? Actually, I didn't have any instructions out of the gate this morning. I'll tell you why. I'll put on the pre-market and you'll see almost instantaneously why I didn't have much instructions. It's kind of a wait and see, look for the trend. Okay, so you can see here's the pre-market. We're under here. 10-minute trend closed out there. Uptrend closed out here. Reconvened over here. Closed out here. Reconvened here. All he did was waffle around. So for me, it was, I want to see a breakout over the wicks up top here. The pre-market price action, never had it. Never happened. On the bottom side, I was looking for gap fill. Down here, you can see for the most part, nothing but bullish engulfing coming off the bottom here. So really tight coiling going on right now. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. It was a wait and see, and we waited all day. There was nothing to trade. Nothing. Nothing. We didn't have a trend. Okay, we don't do very good picking tops and bottoms. We didn't have a trend, so there was very little to do. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. That's what happened this morning. If you want to see my trading, I can turn it on just for a second. You can see it. Okay, I had a spread. I think I lost a little bit of money on the spread right here. I had the 652 puts and the 651 puts. Okay, you can see I gained, I lost more than what I gained right there. Had some 660 puts right here. Those are 2 days out, so I took a little bit of hit trying to average down. Had some 645 puts that I sold short, and I took some profit on those. I had some 666 calls that I think I sold short on those. Let's take a peek. No, I went long on the 666 calls with price moving up, and we never got going. I was able to sell a little bit into strength, but it never got going. That uptrend only made 490. I had some 667 calls that I sold short. As you can see right here, the first one is a red dot, and then comes the blue dots, and I only managed to ink out $220 on that. So like I said, it was not an easy day. Nothing but chop, 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 and more chop right there on SPY QQQ. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the market here. We're going to turn the trading off. You saw what happened. Let's move this over to the left. All right, and let's pick up this one right here. And let's go with a daily. And let's start off with, we can squinch this down. Start off with Diamond Dow. Okay, here's Diamond Dow. Higher, low, higher, high, closing, well, over a bearish trap, under the falling, see these red dots, falling 17. Under the pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, not closing below the lower third down here. See this, barely this faint dash line right here. Well, that would be the lower third, so they're closing in the bullish territory. Up here, that's the upper third of the quad lines. Here's our April origin. So they're still bullish, but obviously you can see lower high and lower lows. So they're still in a downtrend on Diamond Dow on the daily chart. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, on IWM, let's move this out of here. Okay, IWM is, today's candle is a cross, not the good cross. Closer to an upside down sword, but not quite enough blade on that sword. Anyways, all right, on IWM, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish, closing over a bullish cross. See how the 3 crosses up over the 8. Closing over the falling 17. Closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP right here. Okay, closing up in quadrant 4, so that's still bullish. All right, but they haven't made any higher highs, so they're still in a downtrend. Okay, so that's IWM. Back out here, here's the origin of our move, April, all the way up here to our all-time high, and then this is our pullback. All right, so this will be the first pullback in a big rally. And if I remember, there is a trader, and I'm not sure of her name, but I think it's Radke or something like that. And her advice is always buy the first dip of the first big pullback, all right, or of the first pullback. This probably going to be the second pullback, but we'll see what happens, all right, right off the all-time high. This will be the first pullback from going up here. So, all right, so we could get a rally. We'll see what happens. I'll believe it when I see it, because I'm not seeing it yet. So there's IWM. Let's take a look at FNGU. All right, on FNGU, we are almost in the lower third, not quite. So we're neutral. We're knocking on the door of being bearish. We're neutral. This is the all-time low. This is the all-time high. We're under the all-time high anchored VWAP. This would be midfield or the 50-yard line. We're under the 50-yard line, so obviously the bulls are not in control. The bears are. Okay, you can see for today's candle was an inside day. It's a higher low and a lower high, but we closed under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the 50-yard line, darn near knocking on the door of the bearish territory zone. All right, so it's neutral and obviously in a downtrend on FNGU. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver puts in higher low, higher high, closing in a bearish trap under the fading 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the 50-yard line, and in a downtrend because they haven't made any higher highs. So that's neutral and in a downtrend on silver. Gold. Okay, gold is a higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the fading 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. It's in the upper third, all right, so it's still bullish, but obviously got a low, making lower lows, in a downtrend on gold right there. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, USO for today, nice green candle, but they gapped way down. All right, so lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish cross, closing over a rising 17, closing over this 4-year high anchored VWAP that goes back to the post-COVID rally of 2022 right here. Okay, we're up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, and we're still in an uptrend on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG looked like an outside day. It's a higher high. It's a lower low. It's closing under a bearish trap, under the fading 17 EMA. See the dots? They turn above it. They turn green when price is below. They turn red. Under the fading 17 EMA is these dots. Okay. This is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, so here's the 12-month high right there. This is the all-time low right here. You can see we're not in the upper third. We're not even in the middle third. We're down here in the bottom third. We are bearish and currently got a low, making lower lows in a downtrend. So bearish and in a downtrend on UNG. Let's take a look at technicals. T2101, and the market went, well, it kind of melted up a little bit today. If you look at QQQ and SPY and IWM, they all kind of melted up a little bit more today. Maybe they continue to melt up. I don't know. But anyways, on the melt up, not a whole lot of participation. You can see this would be the market breadth, aka participation, less than what we had yesterday. That's T2101. That is a bearish sign. P2122. You can see we spent in the last, let's just say today's the 25th. There's 15 days. There's 10 days. Let's call this 10 days. You can see the majority of the price action is below the 50-yard line, showing you bears in control. We have not got a changing character yet. Okay, so bears are still in control here. And if you look at today's chop action, because that's what it was, it's nothing but chop action. It was in the seller's chop zone almost all day. Okay, so here we are with today's action. Today's 25th. So we shoot off up here into the buyer's chop zone right here, okay? And we make a brief appearance way on the other side. And they march us all the way back down to the seller's chop zone. And then we knock on the door. We got rejected. We knock again. We say we got desserts, and they reject us. And you can see we spent the whole day in the seller's chop zone on the bearish side, showing you bears in control, even though we did melt up. All right, so that is a bearish sign right there on T2122. So T21 bearish, T22 22 also bearish, T2123. Any higher highs here? No higher highs over the 17. Okay, had to make this high, failed to do it. So we got lower lows, so we're still in a downtrend on T2123. That is a bearish sign. We are under the falling 200 SMA. That is a bearish sign as well. If we put the quad lines on there and rack this all the way back up to the all-time high, you can see from the all-time high to the pullback low, we are still down here in quadrant 1. That is bearish. Still bearish. Nothing has changed yet. Okay, on the 15-minute chart. Bearish and in a downtrend. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. 3-bar chart, we're going to take this off. Okay, we're going to come back to our origin of our move, which was April. Remember April? I keep saying it over and over. That was the all-time high. There was the April origin of our move. We rally up. We make, yep, a new all-time high right here. Pull back, make a higher low, rip, consolidate over the flat 200, rip, and make another new all-time high. So new all-time high in 2024, new all-time high in 2025, new all-time high in 2026. You can see price action still in quadrant 4. That is bullish, but we're under the rising 200 SMA. Yeah, I'm here. And you're not getting any sound? I did record it. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Traders in the room. Robert was kind enough to tell me that he had no sound. Yes, I'm here. I didn't see any sound waves up here. Of course, I'm looking on this. This is my, what do they call that? My Camtasia recording device. I'm getting sound here, but I did not get any sound coming from the shock waves that are on the room right here. And see how they're speaking now. So Robert was kind enough to let me know. He's asking if I'm here, and I'm here, Robert. As I went through, the good news is it got recorded. All right, so because I'm just about done. But I will look at anything you want me to look at before I leave. So we're still bullish on T2123 3-bar chart, but you can see we've got lows, we've got lower lows. We're in a downtrend right there. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. I keep getting tossed off and put back on, and sometimes I get the illusion that it's on, but it's not really on. So that's where we're at. So Robert's looking at some stocks, Alpha Dog, and he's looking at GEVO. So I'm going to go. He didn't say anything, but I think he wants me to visit them. So I'll go look at them with him. And you ask any question you want, Robert, so I can help you out with any of that. Anyways, here's FNGU. This is the last one. I did record it for everybody out there, so you can catch the recording. Stinker on the 15-minute chart. Okay, we've got 24th. This was yesterday. We got a high here. We made a higher high. We got a low. It's not a lower low. So we're still in an uptrend till we make a lower low. And if that low is below, that low is 1690. That low is 1689. So we're still, believe it or not, that's an uptrend, and they just squeaked that out because they got a high right here over the 17, and they made a higher high. Okay, but if you back out and look at that, that's a bear flag. Okay, it's a very weak uptrend in that it's dysfunctional and not moving up. All right, I'll just put it that way. We're under the falling 200 SMA. Okay, so that's bearish. It's a great place to be if you're a bear. It's a lousy place to be if you want to be a bull. Okay, we're underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. I'm going to pan way out. There's an all-time high way back there. put the quad lines in. I want to show you where we're at. All right, so you can see we're down here in quadrant 1 on the 15-minute chart. That's bearish, all right, but in a dysfunctional uptrend that is not moving up. All right, so there's FNGU. All right, so I'm going to look at a few of Robert's picks, see what he likes, and he can ask questions anytime. Here's the U.S. dollar index back out here. Okay, you can see this is 2025 high. All right, it's in a daily downtrend, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower lows. Okay, then goes into a bear flag. Currently, we're in a daily uptrend inside of our bear flag, but we've tried to pop the top on the bear flag and just can't seem to get it done. Failed here, double failure here, big failure here. Okay, but we're in an uptrend because there's a low, we made a higher low, there's a high, and we made a higher high. So we're in an uptrend. Okay, that's trying to break out and struggling with it. And that is the U.S. dollar index. All right, let's go over to game plan right there. And let's go to daily chart and let's look at one of Robert's first ones, GEVO. All right, he's up near the highs. Okay, so that's bullish, and he got a higher low, and he's about to come into all this wick where sellers were operating before. So I think if he can get that price to get up there into that wick, that would be a great profit-taking place right up there into those wicks. And if it happens to get up there and hold, then I would get back in. That's just me. All right. He might have some inside, not some inside, but some general information, knowing that it has the possibility of going even higher than that. Okay, because here's the all-time high way up here. All right, and you can see we got a higher low right here, and we still have not made the higher high. We made an equal high, but we have not made the higher high. And over here we made another higher low, double bottom there, and probably looking for this to pop up through. Okay, you got a big inverted head and shoulders right here, that being the head, all of this being the neckline. And if he can get price to break that neckline, well, that would be my first target. This would be my second target. That would be my third target right there. So he's got an inverted bullish head and shoulders going on right there. All right, so there's GVO. I like that. Nice day today. Look at that green candle. Look at this move up. All right, up, over, still holding that daily uptrend over the 17. That's still working out, and that's still holding up. So maybe if you can, right up underneath here, I'd be taking some profit, and then if it gets on top, consolidates up here and holds that higher ground, I'd consider taking it up for the next ride up. All right, there's GVO. That's just me. GVO makes renewable jet fuel, alternative to petroleum-based products. Think I need to know where oil is going to trade. I'm going to say energy is probably going to stay elevated for a little while. And those boys in Texas, and you're probably familiar with those boys in Texas. If there's a way to shut down a refinery or have something break, this is their time to shine. Or they need to overhaul a refinery or whatever. I'm sure it will happen now. All right, if not sooner. Okay, so in order to keep the price of oil up there where it's profitable to drill and explore. It's okay. This Just my opinion. All right. So I think oil will stay. I think oil will stay around over 70. That's where I think. All right. Again, it's just speculation. So there's GVO. Thanks for sharing that with us. Now we got Fly. And Fly. Fly just started an uptrend with a higher low. This is a really relatively new company, only because you can see it was started in August right here, and you can see they went up there. You got a high here. Well, you see that peak between the two valleys. That would be my first target right there. If they can keep going, that would be the breakdown candle high right up there would be my second target. So you got a higher low. Question is, are the bulls going to get inspired to make the higher high? And by the looks of it, you can see as today's candle, which is a beauty, by the way, all right, is up over the 50-yard line. So that is good news, all right, for the bulls. Now just want to see them hold up there and keep going with that. So I like that one. I like that a lot. That's Fly. Let's take a look at SOLS. Okay, Souls. That's a nice bull flag right there. All right. Pull back right there. You know, you pull back the bow. You can see the arrow beginning to shoot out of this bull flag. Nice candle again today. I don't know what you're using for a scanner, but I like it. I don't know. Nice bull flag breaking this bull flag pullback right now. So that's nice. I like that one. And that's got the potential to go up and re-challenge the all-time high up there. This is another new company. Just started here in October. And you can see nice movement from 45 up to 84 area. So that's really nice. I would look for the double top on that one. Souls is looking good. HIMX, HIMX. All right, big rip up there. Pull back. Oh, there's a lot of wind up here. They got a rip right this. I don't think I would. I like the wind up that you're getting right here. I don't know. That's a lot to take in. For me, that's too much of this would scare me off. Right there. I don't like this like that. But it seems to be working out for you. Again, another one with a higher low. Maybe you can get that higher high to come back up over this peak right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. You got an M pattern that failed. What happened right here? You can see here's the left side of the M. Now we start the middle valley. And then you got the right side of the M. And they got down here, and you see them right here with the valley. They kind of failed. There's a little battle. You can see the battle right here. And they failed. And because they failed, they ripped all the way up here. So I don't know if it would go back up there unless there's some good news on it. All right, that would be it. Other than that, I would probably not trade this stock. But he's looking at it. Oh, he's looking at it. He's not in it. He's looking at it. Okay, J&J. I like J&J, Consumer Defense. Beautiful chart, bull flag. Just wait for the, just keep picking off the lows. I like that. That's an awesome chart right there. You can't be too sad with that one. Beautiful. Huge, nice bull flag all the way up there. All right, I like that one. Soon as as soon as you kind of clear the 50-yard line up here, that would be game on. So right up over that, right up over this 244.48. All right, 244.48. Right up over that, that would be game on for me. For J&J, because you said you're looking at them. Merck. Oh, there's another one that's really nice. Another bull flag kind of looking one. And that's nice. Nice little pullback. Just want to do a quad line thing right here. Nice candle today. I like that. I'd probably be a buyer of that maybe tomorrow. Look for a trend change on that. That looks nice. If tomorrow's candle doesn't wipe out this red-green one, I'd probably be looking at that for a long one. Right up there. That's a nice high flyer. Merck, probably another consumer defense. In other words, if you're going to get stagflation, J&J, Merck, you know, stuff that people need every day, like Q-tips, shampoo, things like that. Going to be consumer staples, like people are just going to need them no matter what. So they'll just continue to perform. Great place to park capital while you're waiting for the tech market to come back. So there's Merck, like that. STX, I think that's Seagate. That is Seagate Technologies. So if you don't know who these guys are, I know that they make hard drives. So there's all kinds of hard drives out there, or data storage. So they got those chips. There's not even a drive anymore. It's just a chip. So they're putting in a higher low right here. And you can see clearly they're up past the quad lines. Right there, you can see they're holding. Right up here in the upper, in quadrant 3. So that's bullish. Lingered here a little bit too long. Tech's kind of out of favor. Just watch yourself on that one. Unless tech can come back into favor, this would be looking good. That's really a high flyer. Be careful way up there. You got a lower high right here on that one. I'd be more inclined to stick with J&J and Merck than I would tech at this time, only because you're getting that sector rotation. This is looking good. If you can scalp some good moves off of it, that looks good. I don't know if it's going to go any higher. I really don't. They've got a higher low. It'd be interesting to see if they can get the higher high printed. All right, and you've got one rejection here. You get another rejection, all right, you might want to put on a covered call up overhead just in case this thing comes tumbling down on STX. All right, nice high flyer with a higher low. Like that one. Next one is RPRX. So did I get that right? RPRX. Okay, Royalty Pharma. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that looks like it's going to break out. Nice bull flag right here, ready to break out. Kind of making a move right up over the middle. Holding that higher ground. This is good to go. Like that one a lot. I don't know how high it goes, but that's a really nice move since 2025. Really nice move. Not to say that it has to end, but that is a nice consolidation up. You're up over that middle peak right there, and still going up there to attack that all-time. Is that an all-time high? Not quite, but it's up there. So this looks like it's going after those all-time highs from 2020, way up here. All right, so looks like it's going to chase down those all-time highs on RPRX. Like that one. Like that one a lot. All right. That's it for me, traders. I did record it, so if you missed it, it's going to be in the recordings. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. tomorrow at 8. Sorry about today. I can't help it, but dealers got involved and everything just got super wound up tight on SPY today. Okay, super wound up tight. You can see here's today's. You can see over VWAP, under VWAP, over VWAP, under VWAP, over VWAP, under VWAP. All right, so really wound up tight. Kind of in a bear flag down here. We'll see where it wants to go. All right, somebody's contacting me on this, honey. That's yeah, he told me my room screen was frozen on Canva. Thank you. Yeah, I just got it unfroze there with Robert let me know. I didn't see that in time. All right, that's it for me, traders. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll do it again. All right? Maybe we'll get the breakout tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully they don't give it away to the Asian market and the European market, because that's what they seem to do. They let the people in the night get all the good moves, and they leave us with nothing but consolidation. All right? I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, everybody.